Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Williams. This is the progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. Remember, you can also send me a tweet to EGBERTOWILLIES. That is, at Egberto Williams. Let us engage. It is politics done right.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics and Right. I'm Egberto Williams, your host. Thank you so kindly for being a part of the show. We are going to have a great show for you today. Is that right, Don, or what?
That is correct.
And how was your week, my friend?
My week was a week.
Don.
Yeah, what's up?
Don. I know you can give me at least a bit more excitement. Don't let it be that I'm the only one that's excited out here, brother.
You're not the only one excited. My week was a week. There you go.
So, anyhow, we are going to have a great show today. You know, let me tell you something, folks. Every now and then what happens is somebody calls you up and they say, listen, Egberto, let me tell you something. There's something that's happening this weekend, and I don't care what the hell you're doing on your show. You're going to put me on. And then I said, well, you know, we work for community radio, and since we work for community radio, we have to oblige whatever the community tells us to do. So I got a call from this guy. Can I use this guy's name on the air?
Sure.
So I get this call from this guy that I know for a long time, Jesse Fuentes, and he says, Egberto, you know, we need to get some special people on. And I said, okay, Jesse, you know, I have a show already prepared, and it's like a serious show I need to get done.
Okay.
But I tell you what I'll do. I'll oblige. And that is exactly what we did. So let me kind of bring out what the show is going to be about for you guys today, folks. Today, Donald Trump, the title of the show today is, While Progressives Believe Trump is Either Delusional or Willfully Ignorant when referring to the deep state, the narrative could win him the midterms. Look, folks, Donald Trump seemed obsessed with the deep state. It is not clear whether he really believes there is one, whether he's delusional or whether it's a ploy. The reality, those are not mutually exclusive. What I do know is that he created the narrative, and it is now rampant in his base and bleeding out into the mainstream. We ignored that at our own peril. After all, the government, with the help of presumably the deep state, keeps us into war and all these other things. And guess what? People kind of believe that kind of stuff. So it's clear that the Trump cabal, media, conspirators, they know what's going on. They know this quite well. But before we get to the show at hand, we have some stuff to go over. We have some stuff to go over before the deep state. We are honored here to have Constance C. Luo. Did I say that right?
Law.
Constance C. Lowe, I've been corrected. She's a community organizer with Texas Organizer Project of Harris County. TOP is what I think we refer to. Ms. Ko is a second-generation Chinese-American community organizer who deeply cares about justice and equity in Houston's black and brown neighborhoods. She currently organizes with the Texas Organizing Project, TOP, in the northeast area of Houston, working with community members to improve the housing and infrastructure issues in their neighborhood. So welcome aboard, Miss Lowe. Did I say that right?
Yeah, you got it.
I got it right. Mm-hmm. Now, to what do we owe your presence in the studio?
Yes, so thank y'all for having me so much. Shout out to our top member, superstar Jesse Fuentes, to my right here. He's super cool. So what we're doing is we're promoting several of our town hall events. We have gone through 3 already. There's 6 in total, so we have 3 left. They're coming up real fast, and we want everybody to be a part of them. We've already hit up Acres Homes. We've hit up the East End. But we're going to be, this Saturday, we're going to be at Northeast Houston, so that's Tidwell and Mesa. These are town halls talking about Mayor Turner's $1.2 billion budget to improve the affordable housing situation in Houston. So there's still a lot of people struggling with different issues from Harvey. You'd be surprised of all the people living in Mode.
Actually, I would not be, because I want to interrupt you for one important thing, because you just mentioned money, $1.something billion.
Yeah.
We always hear these lots of money all of the times, and somehow the neighborhoods that you support somehow never seem to get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Therefore, my question to you, before you even get into a lot of your pros, is what you're doing ensuring that the piece of that $1.2 billion that's coming out there go to the people that most need it?
Yes, that's an amazing question. So before I go into that, I'm going to make sure that everyone has the info for the upcoming town halls since they're coming up soon. So the Northeast Affordable Housing Town Hall is at 12 p.m. this Saturday at the Northeast Multi-Service Center. That's off of Spalding in Tidwell, 9720 Spalding. You can reach me at 630-234-3614 with any questions. That's going to be off the chain. Same thing on Saturday, 2:30 p.m. is Sunnyside South Park. That's going to be at Greater St. Matthew's Church, 7701 Jutland, 77033. You can reach Ann Sampson, the organizer there, 713-870-5674. And then lastly, next Thursday on the 7th, we have the Southwest Affordable Housing Town Hall. That's 6 to 8 p.m. at the Southwest Multi-Service Center, off of High Star, 6400 High Star, 77074. So those are all the dates. And to respond to your question, a lot of people in Houston are feeling jaded, and that's okay. See, the city, if you're lucky enough to be in a neighborhood that gets a lot of attention, the city may have come to you already, knocked on your door, if you're lucky, and then had meetings where they want to hear, how can we improve the neighborhood? How can we do this? Oh, we're going to do something. We're really going to do something. And so our black neighborhoods, our brown neighborhoods are sick and tired of being lied to, are sick and tired of no answers, no real solutions. And so we are holding on. Mayor Turner and all these other elected officials, we are holding them accountable. Mayor Turner says he has $1.2 billion to spend on affordable housing in Houston. He says he's going to make a decision on where this money's going, exactly for what. Maybe it's road repairs, maybe it's home repairs, maybe it's for drainage. The drainage in the Northeast in particular is very, very poor. And so he says he's going to make a decision on this by June 9th. That's super close. So, hey, we're going to hold him accountable as our mayor, and we are hosting all of these town halls where people can come fill out a map together, look at survey questions together, and the city will be there to listen to exactly where and what their concerns are.
Now, let me ask you this. Has the mayor been out to Sunnyside? Has the mayor been out to all these different areas that we have all these problems right now? Has he been out there with his crew and telling folks what he's going to do for them?
Since I don't work for the mayor, I can't exactly detail his exact, day to day. From the details that I know, speaking to people on the door, speaking to people at community events, face to face, I'll say in the Northeast, people really get to connect with their mayor on TV. People get to connect with their council member, Jerry Davis, for example, in the Northeast, maybe on their website. They're not coming to your door. That's the issue.
The reason that was a loaded question that I had to you.
I know.
And the reason why it was a loaded question is I live in Kingwood.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you something. Mayor Turner was out there in Kingwood. By the way, Kingwood was one of the first places that got cleaned up as far as all the crap that was the sheet rocks and all that sort of stuff.
You're right.
Okay? And they were complaining about the speed with which things were done. I then went to Northeast Houston, where I did one of my radio shows from a church. There was a pastor out there helping people out. And there was no help from the city, nobody around other than those who were volunteering. I had people coming down from Georgia, people coming down from New York, people coming down from all these areas that were bringing supplies in and going into these homes and cleaning them out and trying to find where to get rid of all this refuse. So what I'm saying is, we in Kingwood saw the mayor, and a lot of the folks weren't very friendly towards the mayor when he came. So I was kind of interested in finding out if, he's been in the areas, and if he's not, maybe we should have a show together with the mayor and yourself out here and figure out what's going on.
Yeah, I would say what you're saying is completely right. And really, it's not about which neighborhood's getting more resources and what's, it's those people against us. We need to be united in this.
Exactly.
So in the Northeast, a lot of people, they pay attention to the news. People pay attention. They know what's going on. They know that certain areas like Kingwood got a lot of relief. They also know that when the floodgates were open, that's when a lot of people lost their lives.
Right.
Even if it's 100 doesn't seem like a large number of people who died, which is the official death count is in the hundreds after Harvey in Texas. But we're all connected in that. And 100 is 100 too many. That's unacceptable. So what I'm telling people is if you want to get involved, you really want to connect with the city because they're actually listening to us right now, come out. Come out on Saturday. Give the city a chance. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to hold them accountable. That's your right because you pay their not taxes. You pay their salary.
Right.
Absolutely. That's every person's right, to be angry and to be critical. And I also tell people, we have a chance to really fix up the drainage, the potholes, all of the vacant lots, things like that, parks and stuff, through these events on Saturday and next Thursday. And also, I would say mark your calendars because hurricane season starts June 1st, and that's Friday.
And we already had our first storm.
We already had our first storm. So, if you're okay with the status quo, that's fine. We're looking for people who want to get involved in their communities. But I would advise everyone that hurricane season starts on the 1st, which is Friday, and we need to take action.
Constance and Jesse, what you guys are doing is extremely important, extraordinarily important, most importantly to get these people involved, because the term that says that squeaky wheel get the grease or something to that nature. And what happens a lot of times in these neighborhoods of color is the wheels don't squeak, or rather that they don't get the grease because they don't know that they should be squeaking, while other wheels that doesn't necessarily have to squeak, they are squeaking. But I want to bring up something here, and this is more on a technical nature. It concerns me what are solutions right now that, and this will affect some of the people, but they may not know how. I hear a whole lot about we are going to help fix the problem with the flooding. We're going to dredge we're going to dredge the San Jacinto River, and we're going to put 3 gates on or so to the dam at Lake Houston. I want to warn. I'm an engineer. I want to warn those folks below the dam and remind them that the same thing Kingwood and other communities are complaining about Conroe doing to them by opening those gates to flood down here is what we are proposing to do to the folks southeast of the dam. And they are many of them are as well constituents. So when solutions are made available, I hope you guys are going to be, all of us are going to be doing our research to make sure that the solutions, again, aren't just justified for a select few and not, as you said, a unified area.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm for that. That's why we're encouraging people to take action, come to our events for the Northeast and Sunnyside South Park on Saturday, and then Southwest for next Thursday. One thing that I do want to mention, which you highlighted, is thinking short-term solutions versus long-term.
Right.
Because both have their place. So a short-term solution is services. My organization, Texas Organizing Project, or TOP, we don't do services. Though services are important, right? You get some food, you get some supplies, you get your house repaired, and maybe you're good for 1 week, 1 month,
yes.
maybe 2 months. But where will you be down the line in 1 year or in a couple days as hurricane season's coming? Where will your children be, your grandchildren be in 5, 10, 15 years, 20 years? Will you all be okay? Will you all live in a house that is safe and affordable and dignified? Or will you constantly be uplifting your life over and over again because these hurricanes are wiping us out? So we encourage people to think the long term. And these upcoming events on Saturday, Northeast, Sunnyside, South Park, and then Thursday at the Southwest, no, they're not about services. They really aren't. We'll have references available, but the whole point is thinking long term. We want you as a resident who sees this every single day, who lives through this every single hurricane, to be at the table making the decision, because Mayor Turner cannot make this decision without consulting his people.
And the people in the city of Houston, all the people in the city of Houston,
exactly,
that actually got him elected. And the truth of the matter is, this is a sort of a political statement, but it seems like a large base that does the electing here doesn't get the services for what they've elected. So,
you hit it on the nail. That's absolutely correct.
In other words, it is time for folks to stop appeasing, and it is time for folks to start demanding. I have several blogs that I always write called "Know Your Worth." One vote is one vote is one vote, and I think we need to instruct our people on that. When I say our people, I mean all people on that. That one vote is one vote, and no area in town deserves anything. Su voto es su voz. That means your vote is your voice. Absolutely. Why don't you talk a little bit to us about that, Jesse, since you brought that up?
Well, I'm the local president here in Houston of the Labor Council for Latin American Advancement. I'm a contingency group of the FLCIO. So what we do is register people to vote and get out the vote. And we've been registering people to go vote, but we hadn't put the nail on them to go vote. They're staying at home. And we were feeling the results of that. People staying at home and not going to vote. So we need to come up with a system that will get them fired up and go vote and hold these politicians accountable for what they were elected.
I hate to say that is so cliche, which it is so cliche. I think we have to change the paradigm. And I think that paradigm is something that, to some extent, Obama realized when he got his election. Remember, Obama got elected when he should not, when the country wasn't yet ready to elect somebody like him. But what he did was he beat the system. And the way he beat the system is the personal contact. And I think a lot more of us doing exactly what you're doing, the kind of work that you guys are doing. Like, you just have to be more duplicative in what, in what you're doing. But we have to do what you guys are doing, and that is touching more people and talking to more people. I went out there to the east end, the east part of Houston, and what was the most difficult thing was to have people shoo you off from their doorstep saying, well, my vote don't matter anyway. And, there are two things that you can do there, and that is either continue to engage that person or walk away and say, okay, well, you don't want to talk to me. You know my character. You know I want to continue to engage. But a lot of people that, we have to kind of instruct folks not to do that. So before we kind of finish this segment here, tell us again, and by the way, email me that in electronic form. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to also put that in my newsletter to make sure that it goes out to people, and likewise on the website to make sure it goes out to people. Because this is important that we have to keep people engaged.
Right.
Absolutely. Thank you. So our upcoming events are Saturday. We have 2 exciting housing town halls on that day. Northeast, which is a very important area, routinely neglected by the city. We have our Northeast Affordable Housing Town Hall, 12 to 2 p.m. at the Northeast Multi-Service Center. That's off of Spalding and Tidwell, 9720 Spalding 77016. You can always reach me, Constance, at 630-234-3614 for that. Sunnyside South Park is on the same day, Saturday, 2:30 p.m. at the Greater St. Matthew Church, 7701 Jutland, in the zip code 77033. Reach Ann Sampson there, 713 870-5674. And we also encourage you to come to Thursday in the Southwest, an exciting area, Thursday the 7th, 6 to 8 p.m. at the Southwest Multi-Service Center, 6400 High Star 77074.
Thank you so kindly. Look, I mean, we're going to go into the deep state right now, but callers may call in and ask questions about this. Are you interested in hanging around and playing around with us on the rest of the show?
Sure.
And so we are going to do that right now. So guess what I want to do right now, Don?
I don't know.
You don't know what I want to do right now?
No.
All right, well, I tell you what. We're going to go into that part of the show where we are going to announce a few things. So,
Okay.
So we do this because we needed to get this information out there first of all. So those of you that are on the internet, we're getting into the deep state now. But before we get into the deep state, before I get into the program, I want to remind all our listeners that KPFT is a bastion of intelligent voices and programs. And as a political activist myself, my favorites are Think Wing Radio with
Mike Honig at 2 p.m.
And of course, we have Open Journal with
Dwayne Bradley and crew on
Mondays at 6.
Mondays at 6 p.m.
And we have Jazz Latino for Rock Even Latin Jazz at its very best, hosted by
Every Thursday with Juan Flores at 12 noon.
Oh, I had Tuesday. I got to fix that one.
No, I'm sorry, Tuesday,
right?
Right, yeah.
Okay, all right. And then we have, of course, Generation Radio, a weekly radio program featuring
the Generation Radio crew. That's every Thursday at 12 to 2.
And we have this great show, Really But Not Really, a hip-hop and R&B parody show on Thursdays at
10 p.m. With Rosemont and his crew of people.
But we know who that is going to be. But anyhow, moving on, we have The Human Condition at 3 p.m., followed by The Free Minstrel Show with Don and Dwayne at 4 p.m. And who is Dwayne? Dwayne is our producer extraordinaire out here, so he has these great shows on. But folks, check out our full schedule at kpft.org, where you can find.
I am not Dwayne. Why does everybody keep?
Did I call you Dwayne today?
Yes.
I meant Don.
That's my brother.
Forgive me. Anyhow, check out our full schedule at kpft.org, where you can find programming from music to politics to medicine to the eclectic. KPFT is a listener-supported public community radio station, so please remember that if you like what you hear, visit kpft.org and ensure we remain a strong, viable community radio station that provides news, programming, and information not influenced by whom?
Corporatocracy.
Influenced by whom?
The people.
Oh, I like that. You know, she's going to tell it like it is. Anyhow, continuing. What are your thoughts? Please remember to go ahead and follow Politics Done Right with Egberto Willies on Facebook. And don't forget to follow Egberto Willies on Twitter. But folks, do you know what time it is?
It's time for the weekly blog post.
Okay, folks, today's blog post is titled, "The Deep State May Be the Undoing of the Blue Wave Democrats Expect." And this is going to be dropping sometime on Sunday at Daily Kos, so you get to hear it first. Many liberals and progressives view President Trump's talk about the deep state as funny. Others disregard it as yet another nonsensical utterance by a delusional president. We do that at our own peril. The blue wave is currently nothing but a hope, as many Trump supporters are buying into the deep state false narrative that creates enough doubt to attenuate any wave. Donald Trump has been attacking the FBI and the Justice Department for some time now. He has characterized them many times as being a part of a deep state. Vanity Fair reported the following: while Trump has not yet voiced the most explicit version of this conspiracy publicly, he has been slowly building the case that the Justice Department investigation is, in fact, a deep state plot to delegitimize his presidency or even force him out of office. If the FBI or DOJ was infiltrating a campaign for the benefit of another campaign, that is a really big deal, he tweeted over the weekend, promoting a popular theory on the right and increasingly on Fox News that the use of informant was politically motivated. Trump himself isn't waiting for evidence to answer the question. Look how things have turned around on the criminal deep state, he says. They go after phony collusion with Russia, a made-up scam, and end up getting caught in a major spy scandal, the likes of which this country may never have seen before. What goes around comes around. Yeah, and your butt's gonna feel it. Well, who knows? Anyone who believes this is just an unhinged or delusional Donald Trump better think again. The entire right-wing industrial complex has built an entire narrative under the deep state catchphrase. I reported about a Republican candidate forum I attended a few weeks ago in an article titled This Liberal Went to a Right-Wing Candidate Forum and Saw an Alternate Reality. The Trump-adoring Republicans learned that there is a deep state trying to bring down Trump and conservatives. Can you believe that? After the event, I asked the former candidate who ran in the Republican primary if he genuinely believes in a deep state. He answered in the affirmative. These were not dumb people. This guy is a lawyer. I'm a regular at my local Starbucks. Many of the patrons know that I'm a very progressive political blogger. They also know I'm easy to talk to and entertain discourse irrespective of ideology. These guys, yes, they are generally white guys, seek me out often for a conversation. I start the interchange mostly doing, you know what? Just listen, and you hear a lot when you just listen. You hear a lot when you just listen. Right, Scott and Tag? You hear a lot when you listen. Shockingly, there are two themes. The first is a deep state out to get Trump. The second is that while they are not enamored with Trump, they think he is doing an outstanding job. The right-wing machine is marketing the Trump message effectively to his base and to those who are looking for a justification to placate the unnecessary carnal fear of our changing society. You know, they're scared of folks that, here's a studio, folks that look like us, man. That's the scary thing for some of this sect of people. And they're trying to use that as some sort of an arm. Anyhow, they have the right-wing machine is marketing the Trump message effectively to his base and to those who are looking for a justification to placate their unnecessary carnal fear of our changing society. They have gamed in the search engines. Google deep state, and one finds that the right owns the message on this first page with smart advertising. Folks, you got to understand that this game isn't just played on the streets or us shouting on TV. It's played on the internet. Do some Googling and you see how much control these guys have, and you see how far behind we are. But it's deeper. Google Trump jobs. At the time I did it, the first article that showed up was one titled President Trump's Historic Jobs Achievement. And it wasn't written by some crazy outfit. It was written by a subscriber to The Hill. Written by an opinion writer who performed near perfect SEO on the article. And again, strategically placed ads enhance the reach of their message about Trump and jobs. This is not a game. Liberals, progressives, you're falling behind. The same sort of activity is not apparent from the left. One would think Democrats would optimize messages for Trump tax cut searches tokens. Non-political folks are unlikely to search for tax cut scam, which is what we always talk about. Tax cut scam, yeah, it may make us feel good, but they're not listening to that. Many continue to campaign as if the digital age never came to fruition, or as if we are still using blackboards. I see a lot of pundits on the left doing a lot of talking about the upcoming blue wave. What I fail to see is a strategy to make it a reality. In my conservative town, Republicans continue to get touched by their right-wing organizations. They have activities. They're engaged not only in asking for money, but for promoting their brand of misinformation. They're micromanaged. I fail to see this on the left, either in person or virtually from the party. Suffice it to say, my two guests in this place, that is exactly what they're doing. But we need a hell of a lot more. We need a hell of a lot more touches on people. They are micromanaged. I fail to see that the left is doing this stuff in person, party by party. I must give kudos to Indivisible or Revolution, DSA, and other organizations like TAP on the left. But they need help. When one has the gall to complain about political action, it is imperative to ask oneself whether they are part of the problem, like I would expect many to ask of this author. I apply SEO to all of my content to maximize our message. I do the same with my radio show, podcast, vlogcast, and blogs, making sure to interlink with other progressive sites to ensure online fluidity and performance. Every progressive blogger, writer, publisher, everybody else in this field should be doing the same thing if we're to win. We don't have the money. It is true that we do not have the financial prowess of the right, but we have the numbers. The internet is still relatively open. I mean, what is it called? That stuff with the internet. Come on, help me out here. How are they trying to kill the internet?
Net neutrality.
Net neutrality. We still have to some extent net neutrality. So let's keep that. Let's use it. We must saturate it with blogs and articles and our positions, policies, actions, and attacks that are well SEO'd. Likewise, we must always have inter-person meetups, like what Tufts does. Most importantly, you notice they're going to have three events. They're going to have 3 events.
That's right.
They're going to tell them the 3 events again, because people come and go.
Yes, absolutely. So the 3 upcoming affordable housing town halls with the city of Houston, and then also Texas Organizing Project. I mean, if you have complaints on your street, on your neighborhood, the flooding, everything, come on out to these town halls because the city is listening. So the first 2 on Saturday, the first one is at Northeast Affordable Housing Town Hall. That's 12 to 2 p.m. Northeast Multi-Service Center on 9720 Spalding. That's off of Spalding and Tidwell. Later in the afternoon, we got Sunnyside in South Park. That's at 2:30 p.m. Another affordable housing town hall, and it's going to be at Greater St. Matthew Church, 7701 Jutland. That's in zip code 77033. And then next Thursday, we have the Southwest Affordable Housing Town Hall, 6 p.m. at the Southwest Multi-Service Center. That's off of 6400 High Star.
So these are... Go ahead, Jesse.
And another thing, we will be there, and we will also be doing voter registration. And that's one of the things that will open their eyes. Because if you become voters, then they're going to say, we better do something. I want to keep my office.
Exactly right. So, folks, the last 2 paragraphs. Okay, let me see. 42% identified as independents in 2017, up from 39% in 2016 via the Gallup poll. Don, you just wrote that on the screen. Let me ask you something. Do you know where the bleed off came, if it came off from the Republican Party or the Democratic Party?
From both.
From both. Okay, great. Thanks for that update. Okay, folks, I'm going to read you the last 2 lines of the blog of the week, and then we're going to get into the phones. It is true that we do not have the financial prowess of the right, but we have the numbers. The internet is still relatively open. We must saturate it with blogs and articles with our positions, policies, actions, and attacks that are well SEO'd. Likewise, we must always have in-person meetups. Most importantly, we must be ready and able to articulate why Americans must vote Democratic in 2018. We must not let the fictional deep state be the undoing of the blue wave. We must realize that the Democratic Party won't enable the blue wave. Ultimately, we, with our hard, smart work, will. Folks, 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. And we have Scott on the line. Come on in, Scott.
Hi. You were talking about changing paradigms. My paradigm is I vote in every election I get, no matter what. I think there's a school bond election this August. I will be voting in it. I haven't decided which way.
That is very good that you're a voter. Now, first of all, I'm happy that you're a voter.
Yep.
My next question is, are you doing anything to kind of convince or help others to become voters like yourself?
I tell people on Facebook and Daily Coast that it is best to have an unconditional commitment to voting. I say that I vote in there. Also, when I have just voted, I post on Facebook and Daily Coast that I have just voted.
Nice.
Usually say how I voted. I voted in the runoff for the school board last December. I posted in both places. That's to set an example.
Excellent. Jesse wants to talk to you.
Quick question. Do you know your neighbors are voters, registered?
Well,
And just a conversation, say, do you vote?
Leaders?
Yes.
I think they probably are. But they're on Facebook, and they're on Daily Kos, and, well, of course, Facebook has a friend system where my friends are the people who are like me, so I sort of have to depend on other people to spread the word.
Excellent. You want to add anything to that, Constance?
Pardon?
Constance is going to add something.
Yeah, hey, I think it's really cool, Scott, that you're really into voting. It sounds simple, right? Like, oh, I vote and it's not a big deal, but a lot of people don't vote, right?
Yeah, and a lot fewer people voted in the last Houston mayor's race than in presidential elections.
So, Scott, I want to challenge you, and just from my personal views as a young person, as a millennial, I want to challenge you to try and reach out to as many millennials as you can. And I'm not quite sure which generation you identify with,
I
but
was born in 1941.
Okay, would that make you a baby boomer then?
Almost,
yeah.
A little short of baby boomer
Yeah.
because I was 11 weeks and 1 day old on Pearl Harbor Day.
Yeah, so from my personal standpoint, not talking, as a representative as my organization, but from person to person, I would recommend that you really try to reach out to millennials, because the current narrative, especially when it comes to voting and millennials and young people, is that young people don't care. Millennials are so this and so that. And it's just the same narrative that goes on for every single generation. I'm sure lots of negative, despairing messages were said about baby boomers back in the day as well. And look at how economically, politically powerful that particular generation turned out to be. So I want to challenge you to reach out to young people.
Scott?
I don't think I have much contact with millennials.
Maybe she, you notice what she told you? She said, I have a challenge for you, Scott. So what she did was challenge. But Scott, I
think it would mainly have to be through Facebook.
That's
maybe
good.
Through Daily Kos, but I think Daily Kos has converted.
Yes, Daily Kos works with just like that with all generations. I mean, it's for a long time it was a very baby boomer type group, but Marcus is in our same generation. Well, my generation. But anyhow,
I hope to get everybody unconditionally committed to voting, and don't really want the Republicans to be, but I certainly hope to get most.
Thank you very much, Scott. Scott, you have a good one.
Election.
Thank you so kindly, my friend.
Okay.
All right, folks, please do remember most lines are open, 713-526-5738. What do you want to talk about? We had about the deep state. What do you think about that? Do you think the blue wave is dead? Do you think the blue wave is becoming a ripple? In my opinion, at this point in time, if we were to have the election right now, I don't even think we have a blue ripple. Because for the folks who vote, did you see the turnout? I'm coming to you next, Tag. Did you see the turnout in the runoffs?
I did. Yes.
I run the elections.
Yes, I do know you run the elections, Jesse. And that, let me tell you, folks, we have to stop talking about wanting change and what's wrong and realize that the only way we get change is if we actually make that change. It doesn't happen by osmosis. It doesn't happen automatically. Okay, folks, telephone number 713-526-5738, 713-526-5738. Come on in, Tag.
Hey, I'm going to move kind of fast, so hang on to your hats, folks.
All right, move fast, Tag.
Speaking of voting, I'm up in Michigan now, and I heard an interesting fact the other day that in the last presidential election, 75,000 people that voted in Detroit did not have a vote for the presidential candidate.
That's sad, but I believe it.
75. They voted, but they didn't. But their votes did not tally for president. So I thought that was fascinating. But listen,
before I don't want you to jump. I want to answer that. When you have two candidates that many Americans find repulsive, that is kind of the disjoint that you find within an election. Okay. And that should teach both parties something. In this case, the Republicans got the better of it. but it could just as well have been the other way. We have to stop what the DCCC did or is doing in the elections right now by trying to mandate who Democrats should elect and start letting the people, like Constance said, make sure that they are the ones who choose and not that some externality out there from Washington chooses. Go ahead, brother.
I appreciate you mentioning that because I hadn't thought about that, but I think that could explain a lot of it. So, but the next thing, I feel that we have to reach across and try to make sense to the other side, and there's so many things happening right now that some people are just getting giddy about. Like my favorite question right now is asking people, how do you feel about the embassy being moved to Jerusalem?
Mm-hmm.
And boy, you ought to see people gloat about that. So many people are so happy about it. And I just thought of this last night talking to one of these people. Do you remember Benghazi?
Yes.
And right off the bat, they'll start going, oh, yeah, the State Department, Hillary Clinton, and all this and that. I says, I don't want to talk about Hillary and the State Department. What I want to ask you is, why did Benghazi happen? It's because they did not have enough support in Benghazi to safeguard those people, right?
Right.
Okay, so what's happened in Jerusalem? They've taken our embassy and moved it to a place. The building they're in is not meant to be an embassy. It's in a very it's in a bad spot, really. I mean, as far as Jerusalem, they could have upheaval there anyway.
Right.
And so for me, I see another Benghazi happening right in Jerusalem with our embassy.
You're absolutely right.
Let me just say one more thing: is that this could be a setup. I love what our brother Robert Muhammad says as far as a false flag goes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't trust these guys for a minute when they're talking about the fourth turning and the second coming. It really bothers me.
Let me first tell you that moving the embassy like they did, without having any sort of plan or without having any sort of political ammunition between, let's say, the two parties or whatever, was the most irresponsible thing to do, and it's going to cause lives. Okay, in fact, it has already caused many lives. So in other words, President Trump has killed a whole lot of people without even having to have any United States bullets doing the job. Don't you agree?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so but here's the deeper answer for you. Don't ever think that these things occur in a vacuum. We have something called a military-industrial complex, and if the world gets too peaceful, these guys stop making money because they need to make some bombs, man. They need to make. It's not a joke. It's serious. I mean, these guys have to keep these things funded. And you know what is so hurtful about all of this? We have a country that is deteriorating, from streets to bridges to airports to everything, deteriorating. We could get the same we'll get a much bigger bang for the buck if we just threw all that money that we have in the defense budget for things that we don't need to spend on and put it locally. It'll speed up the economy. Economics 101. I don't know. All of us took Economics 101. That's how it works. The speed of money is the circulation of money. But we're not doing that. I got to go to Elizabeth, my brother.
So I want to remind everybody, talk to people about Jerusalem and then remind them about Benghazi.
All right, brother. You have a good one, okay?
Thanks.
Thank you so kindly for calling.
Bye-bye.
All right, let's go. Elizabeth, talk to me.
I voted.
Mm-hmm.
I voted since I was 18. And I started voting in the 70s, early 70s.
Mm-hmm.
But after this last election, I became just, after that, I didn't even want to vote anymore.
Okay.
And I haven't been to the runoffs or anything or the things I used to do.
Right.
Because I was so discouraged that the nation elected Donald Trump over all the things that he said. And then as I get older, it just looks like everything just kind of stays the same.
Let me ask you to stop right there.
Or returns. Yeah.
I want to stop you right there, and I want to have our millennial talk to you, because what she had to say earlier is prescient, and it's very important for voters to understand. Go ahead.
So Elizabeth, thank you so much for calling us today. I'm listening to you, right? And it can be discouraging. I'll speak for myself as a millennial. It can be discouraging to see someone who represents all the values that you really don't support, and they're in office and they seemingly have a lot of power and influence. That's discouraging. I feel for you. I get it, you know. I would say that I encourage you to continue participating because something made you pick up the phone today and call us. That's more than average, right? If you don't vote, that's completely your choice, but just understand that you are, by not voting, by not exercising your opinion, your right, the privilege to go vote, then you're with the status quo. Then you accept everything that's going on in the U.S. and this world as okay. And if that's okay with you, then that's fine. But for those of us who don't accept it, think that things could be a lot better, could be a lot different, that black and brown people can have a voice, that our society is not just equal, because I'm not pushing for equality, I'm pushing for equity and justice, then, I mean, voting is just the start. There's so many ways. You know how to do it. You sound OG. You sound like you know how to...
Oh, she does.
So I know you know the steps, and I know you want to make a difference.
Before I want to tell folks that hold one second, Elizabeth. Folks, the lines are wide open. 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. Elizabeth.
I agree with you. I've attended both Democratic and Republican conventions since the 1970s. I've participated in elections. I've voted across the board. I didn't, people I like, whether they were Republican or Democrat or independent or libertarian, I've done that. I'm a Democrat, but I've been fair in that regard. The only thing is, since 2000, voting has gotten weird. We all know what happened with George Bush and Gore, and then that was very frustrating. And then with the Supreme Court, but this was the last straw to see the Electoral College. For me, I'm probably going to vote, of course, this year, but it's just been frustrating to see, especially when the Electoral College made a decision that was different than the majority.
Now, let me get into here, Elizabeth, because I want to tell you something very, very important, okay? The way our system works is they want the majority of the people to feel just like you. And only getting the people to feel just like you is they get the outcomes that they want. And the outcomes that they want is that more people feel the way you do, that you're almost ready to give up, because in doing so, as Constance said, what happens then is the status quo get affected, and when we have the status quo, who benefits? What you hear me talk about all of the times, the plutocracy. But Elizabeth, my phone's just started to fill up. So thank you so kindly for calling, and keep listening, keep calling, and stay engaged, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you so kindly, my friend. Let's go ahead and go to somebody that hasn't called before. Jessica. Come on in, Jessica.
I have called before.
Okay, sorry for not recognizing your number.
Good evening. And in regards to voting,
Uh-huh.
I guess the lines are open because that's a scary topic. People don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
But first of all, y'all, these crooked politicians,
Mhm.
they need to uplift some of these old draconian laws that they have on the felons.
Right.
They also need to allow our youth. I mean, everything. Our youth, they don't know. Our youth, they couldn't comprehend. Well, not too long ago, an 8-year-old in America was able to get married to a 50-year-old man. So, with that being said,
Mm-hmm.
oh, not to mention, pedophilia for a sexual orientation was almost voted to be legalized in America. Did you not know that on the Republican ticket? I mean, it's just very sickening. So, I know it's just very apples and oranges examples, but they really do make a great fruit salad, saying that they need to uplift these laws, not just because they have the power and the whim and because of, if we keep certain people uneducated or if we keep people impoverished and focus only on their lives, they won't care about the government as a whole, which affects our lives.
You just hit
hit
a very important part. By the way, are you a millennial?
Oh, no, I'm not. I am Generation X.
Oh, okay. Ooh.
So, yes, and I'm also a teacher, and I always tell my kids, I want you to be a problem for the world. That's what I want. I don't want you to be a problem in the world.
You also tell them to vote, right? When they are of the right age.
Oh, not only that, I expose my kids globally. I want my kids to be global learners because in South America, the kids are able to vote at the age of 16, not in all of the countries, but for example, Brazil. I mean, come on. I'm opening my baby's eyes.
There you go.
To understand.
Let me get Constance to respond to you. Let me get Constance to respond to you.
Jessica, you sound like just the kind of person we want at our affordable housing town halls. I really love that you reiterate the point that getting involved, voting, whatever, participation in society, that is generational. So if a parent's doing it, a child is going to learn. And then that child will spread it to their friends, maybe to their children in the future. You're the change in the society that we need. Just being active and being open-minded, hopefully. So anyway, you sound like just the person that we want at our affordable housing town halls. Please note that we're having them in the Northeast, Sunnyside, South Park, and Southwest. The first two are on Saturday, and please, I would love to have you there. What side of town do you stay on?
I'm on the north side, and I actually do service and teach those kids in that area, and it's going to affect our babies.
Okay.
I mean, seriously.
Okay.
And not only that, Al Green, when the representative, he's blasting the politicians. I used to work for the legislature as well, formerly, back in the day. But they blasted them a year and a half ago about this affordable housing situation. It's a bigger and bigger monster. But I'm trying to get my kids and even the community, because that's the problem. That's the lack. The adults, we won't all go out there and actively participate. So I'm trying to get my babies to be as annoying as possible No, I'm serious, because my kids are annoying to the administrators on my campus.
That is great.
I know. I'll work it because they are my future.
So, Jessica, I really appreciate you, and I encourage you personally, inviting you to come to the Northeast Affordable Housing Town Hall. Since you're on the north side, that's a perfect fit. It's this Saturday, the 2nd at 12 p.m. at the Northeast Multi-Service Center. That's on Spalding and Tidwell, okay? 77016.
I'm going to do that, and I'm not even going to tell you my last name because my nasally voice is the same as when I will come up there. I promise you, I will be there, and you will recognize me.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jessica.
Thank you.
Thank you so kindly. Thank you very much, and you keep on listening. You keep on spreading the word, okay?
Yes, sir. And, by the way, I've been a KPFT listener in Texas and in Georgia due to my parents. I've been listening to you ever since I was a baby.
Thank you so kindly, Jessica. You have a wonderful day.
See you Saturday.
Y'all too.
Bye-bye.
Right. Bye-bye.
Okay, folks, we still have some open lines, 713-526-5738, but here's Johnny.
Here's Johnny.
Talk to me, Johnny.
Listen, I am totally, as you probably know, I'm totally sympathetic with the sentiments expressed by the lady caller right before Jessica.
Yes, sir.
And to those folks, I would strongly encourage them to vote, especially in this election. But if there's some people who I can understand just can't bring themselves to do that, I understand. So here's an alternative. If you really can't bring yourself to vote at all, it's better that if you're not going to vote, not to stay silent, but to be sure that lots of people, both in Washington and in the mainstream media, know who you are and why you didn't vote. Because they need to know that the reason why more than half of the population who can vote don't vote, it's not because of what the Republicans are doing so much. It's the fact that our side campaigns in office in one direction, sounds nice, and we vote for them, and then they let us down repeatedly. Not just Barack Obama, but Bill Clinton especially. So,
well, I hope you read that blog.
We are actually a liberal nation, but our politicians deliver Republican crap.
Look, I hope you read that analysis that I did comparing the supposedly savior of the Democratic Party, Bill Clinton, with the person who attempted progressivity, which was Barack Obama. The stories that's being told is completely different than the reality. And the Clintons as the goddesses and gods of the Democratic Party is way overblown. And what Obama tried to bring but was stifled by the force of the Democratic Party also need to be brought into the fold. Anything else, Johnny, before we go?
Well, just to be more specific, when I'm referring to how Democrats who get into the White House let us down, it's because of the fact that the leadership of the party, they put forth people that are malleable to the right, like Barack Obama and Bill Clinton. So I think you're right. What we need to do is, like Cenk Uygur says, we need to have our support financially and with our votes. The progressive Democrats, what they call themselves, the
I know who you mean. Yeah, the progressive.
Yeah, when you remember, bring their
PDA. There's PDA. There's DSA. There are a lot of us on the left that's trying to do things.
Party, take it out of the hands of people like Nancy Pelosi.
Right.
She was okay in her time, but she's gotten too sclerotic.
Our revolution. Okay, look.
Our revolution can't. Well, our revolution endorses some of the good candidates, but the ones who will not take PAC money, and those are the ones that
Justice Democrats. Yeah.
Go to TYT and you can find them on a link there.
Yes.
TYT.com.
Johnny, look, buddy, thank you so kindly for calling in. Thank you so kindly for listening. Keep it up.
Tell people who are frustrated to read my demand list, and they should mention that demand list when they say why they didn't vote.
I turned your demand list into a blog that did quite very well. You have a great day, my brother.
All right.
Bye-bye. Okay, look, folks, we are at the end of the show, and what I'd like to do is give some time, first of all, for Jesse to give some closing statements here, and then we're going to ask Constance to go ahead and once again reiterate the programs for those 3 days. Go ahead.
Okay, what I'd like to say is what I gathered from these voters is because they have trouble thinking whether to go vote or not. How do you hold these politicians accountable? Is by letting them know that you're a voter and you'll go vote. And if you don't do what you say you're going to do, I'll see you at the polls. That will make them aware versus I ain't going to go, I stay at home. They want to hear that.
And that is from Jesse, a union guy, a guy who knows how to organize. So take the words to the bank. Constance.
Thank you all so much for having me today. I really want to encourage everyone listening to come out in person, meet your community members, meet the city of Houston who wants to listen to you and your ideas on how to improve affordable housing, infrastructure, the broke roads, the broke houses, the parks, everything. They are listening, and it's up to you to come on out. So our first affordable housing town hall in the Northeast, that's Mesa Tidwell area, is this Saturday the 2nd, 12 to 2 p.m., Northeast Multi-Service Center on Spalding and Tidwell. You can reach me anytime for more info. My number is 630-234-3614. Later on Saturday, we have the Sunnyside South Park Affordable Housing Town Hall. That's 2:30 p.m. at Greater St. Matthew Church, 7701 Jutland. And the person to contact is Ann Sampson, 713-870-5674. Your very last chance is going to be next Thursday on the 7th, Southwest, and that's 6 p.m. at the Southwest Multi-Service Center on High Star.
Jesse and Constance, thank you so kindly for having been out here. You made the show worth the show. Okay, thank you so kindly. Folks, this is Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto Willies, and you know what I say at this point? I am, at the second mark, out!
Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is the progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. Remember, You can also send me a tweet to EGBERTOWILLIES. That is, at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is politics done right.
1, 2, 3, 4.